Chelsea boss Antonio Conte is on his way out of Stamford Bridge, and the only question which remains is exactly when he will leave. The champions were beaten 4-1 at Watford on Monday night, less than a week after a 3-0 home defeat by Bournemouth. Conte, though, has been on a collision course with the club's hierarchy ever since the end of last season, the Italian seemingly unhappy with his influence over transfers and the amount of money invested in new players compared to their rivals. Here, we trace the timeline of the fallout which has accelerated Conte's demise and is sure to see him sacked in the coming months, if not weeks. Chelsea are Premier League champions after a 1-0 win at West Brom as Conte delivers the title in his first season. But rather than celebrate that success, he is already hinting at a complicated summer. For sure, we are in a moment of transition, he says. We are losing a lot of top players who have written the story, the history, of this club. Chelsea miss out on the double as they are beaten 2-1 by Arsenal in the FA Cup final. Now the most important thing is to give a correct evaluation for our season because, for me, it was incredible, he says. Every player performed 120%. We didn't have injuries. Next season we must pay great attention to understand that we have to improve like numbers and quality of the squad. I have no intention of leaving. I'm very happy here. I have 2 years on my contract, but if the club want to sell me, there is one club I would go to, he says. There are reports that Conte is furious after missing out on the signing of Romelu Lukaku, who instead joins Manchester United. Costa is not involved in the pre-season tour of Asia, and Conte says the decision to cut him from the squad was made in January. For me, the situation is closed. Nemanja Matic joins Manchester United, and there are reports that Conte is not happy he has been allowed to sign for a Premier League rival. Tellingly, he later says, Matic knows very well what I think about him, the importance for me about this player, who is a really good player, a top player, very important for our team. But sometimes you must accept this crazy transfer market, and sometimes you must accept different decisions. But he is a great loss for us. Ahead of the new season, Conte plays down Chelsea's chances of retaining their title, suggesting they have not done enough in the transfer market. Every season, I think it's right that every great team try to improve their squad, he says. For sure City, United, Arsenal have improved a lot, and for us, the challenge will be very tough. The transfer market is not finished, and we want to be competitive. He also rules out a return to the club for Costa, who is in exile in Brazil. Chelsea are beaten 3-2 by Burnley at Stamford Bridge on the opening day of the Premier League season. And Conte claims it could take him 4 years for him to rebuild the team. We need time, he says. "4 years? Yes, maybe. To arrive and try to fight for the Champions League, to try to fight to be the best in the world, you need time." Chelsea lose 3-0 at Roma in the Champions League, and Conte falls out with David Luiz after the defender criticizes his tactics. Luiz is dropped as Chelsea beat Manchester United 1-0 at Stamford Bridge. Conte says he has to work really hard, otherwise he is on the bench or in the stands. "I don't know about Luiz's future. Andreas Christensen is the present and the future for Chelsea." Conte describes the decision of technical director Michael Amanello to leave Chelsea as a big loss, and it is clear the manager has lost an ally. "For sure, this is a loss, a big loss for us," he says. "With Michael, our relationship was very good. He helped me a lot last season, and also this season. It was a surprise for me, his resignation from his job. Chelsea are beaten 2-1 by Arsenal in the semi-final of the League Cup, and Conte puts himself on a collision course with the board by claiming he is not making any of the club's transfer decisions. "I think the club decide our transfer market," he says. "As I said before, my task is to try to improve the team." About the transfer market, from the summer, the club decides every single player. Sometimes I can have an impact on the transfer market, sometimes I don't have an impact on this. My first task is to do my job and be a coach and to try to improve my players. For sure, I don't have a big impact on the transfer market. Days after Chelsea are beaten 3-0 by Bournemouth on transfer deadline day, Conte makes the bizarre claim that the club have actually bought too many players. Now we have to struggle to fight for a Champions League place, he says. We must be realistic. We must be strong to accept this type of situation. Then, in the future, if there is the possibility, you have to try to buy only 2 or 3 players, not 8 players. Don't forget, this summer, we brought in 8 players and spent a lot less than other teams who bought only 2 or 3. Conte asks Chelsea for a statement of support amid reports that Luis Enrique is being lined up to replace him. I must be honest, when there are these type of rumors or speculation after the first game of the season against Burnley, maybe I'd like the club to prepare a statement for me to say they trust me in my work and my job, he says. But, at the same time, I know this never happened in the past, so why should I hope for something different? But, for sure, I'd like to have a statement of support against this speculation. Chelsea lose 4-1 at Watford, and, afterwards, Conte says the club can sack him if they want. I'm not worried about my job, he says. I work every day and I give 120%. If this is enough, it's okay. Otherwise, the club can take a different decision. But I'm not worried. Tomorrow is another day. I can be the Chelsea coach or not. What is the problem? My soul is clear.